Hello everybody! This video is going to cover slope of a line. Slope is the ratio of a line's vertical change, called the rise, to its horizontal change, called the run. Slope can be positive, negative, zero, or undefined. It's basically telling you how steep a line is. Now, when I tell people about slope, I always give my skiing story because I think it helps you to remember a little bit. So you got to picture me telling this story. Imagine that this here is a line. I'm going to right here. Right there's a line. Here's the arrows at the end of it, okay? That's a horizontal line. And then I have a line here that's going up from left to right. There's another little horizontal spot. And then a line that's going down from left to right. And then a horizontal again. And then there's this vertical one, okay? That's what we're going to talk about. Anytime you look at a line you're trying to determine the slope, you always look at it from left to right. So let's say I'm going skiing. Here's me. Okay. Here's my skis. And here I even have ski poles. Dun, 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 dun. And right now I have no expression on my face. I don't care about skiing necessarily. My slope, because the slope here is 0. Okay, a horizontal line at 0. I have no expression on my face. Then I start going up the hill. Dun, 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 like this. Here I am. Here's my ski poles. Now I'm excited. I'm going to go skiing. Man, this is awesome. Slope going up from left to right. The slope is positive if the line is going up from left to right. Okay, then I get up to the top. Okay, my slope is negative. I got my 0 again. And then I start going down the hill. And that's when I realize, oh my God, I can't ski. And my poles are going crazy. And I'm freaking out. And I'm yelling, ah! Slope is negative when you go down from left to right. So I get down to the bottom. And then I realize I can't stop. What happens? I go off here and there's my skis wrapped around my head. Here, when you have a vertical line, your slope is undefined. That's how you remember when you're trying to remember it's positive, negative, 0, or undefined. It's horizontal is 0. There's no expression on my face. Going up the hill, I'm excited. It's positive. Everything's great. Going down the hill, I can't ski. I'm negative. And then I fall off the cliff, which is vertical, and that is undefined. We don't talk about that part. All right. That's how you remember positive, 0, negative, undefined. Okay? Let's move on. Let's calculate a slope. Slope is given by the letter M. It's in an equation which you will see soon, y equals mx plus b. Slope is defined as the change in y values over the change in x values. You will see it sometimes with this triangle. That means delta y over delta x means the change in y over the change in x. So here's an example. I want to find the slope of a line that goes through these 2 points. If I want to do it, well, over here you can use this information, by the way, to help you. What I need to do is I need to take the change in the y values. So I need to pick, what I'm going to do is say this one minus this one, because those are the 2 y values. So I'll say 2 minus 7 over the change in the x values, 1 minus 4. Because again, this is x, this is y, this is x, this is y. Okay? 2 minus 7 is a negative 5 over 1 minus 4 is a negative 3. This is equal to 5 over 3. That is your slope. Do not make it into a mixed number. That would tell you the slope of the line. Now, some of you are looking at this and go, well, according to this, you should be taking the other value first. It doesn't matter. Let me show you. If I said I want to do 7 minus 2, I could do that. The point is that if I choose this as my first point, so 7, and I'm going to subtract this one over here, the 2, then underneath I would have to do 4 minus 1. 7 minus 2 is 5. 4 minus 1 is 3. You see that the exact same slope exists either way. What you have to be consistent about is what point are you choosing first. If I'm choosing this one for my x first, for my y first, then underneath that one has to be the first x that's listed. Okay, so just be consistent. Alright, let's move on. Here I have 4 points. What I would like you to do is try to do the first two. See if you can do those on your own, okay? Pause the video and try them. Okay, here, m is equal to, I'm going to do 5 minus 1. Since I picked this first, that means I'm going to put this negative 2 first underneath. Minus 2, or negative 2, minus 6. And this is equal to a 4 over negative 8. And this is reduced to a negative 1/2. It doesn't matter where the negative is. Remember, it could be in the 1, it could be in the fraction bar, it could be in the 2. The whole thing, the whole slope is negative. That just tells you that because it's negative, remember our graph, my skiing story, oops, that means it's going down from left to right. That's what that negative means, if you were to look at the graph. For the next one then, I have m is equal to 0 minus negative 9, which is the same thing as 0 plus 9, over 0 minus 3. I'm going to go down, so I'm like going off to the right there. And that is 9 over negative 3. And the slope here is negative 3. You can have a fraction like this. You could have a whole number like this. You could have an improper. You just can't have a mixed. All right, for these down here, these are a little bit different. Let me show you. M is equal to 3 minus 3. Again, I'm taking this one minus this one. And then I'm going to do over 1 minus 4. This one is equal to 0 over negative 3. When you have a 0 in the numerator, that turns out to be 0. And what kind of line has a slope equal to 0? It's horizontal. Remember my skiing story. That's before I start skiing. I have no expression on my face. Horizontal line has a slope that's 0. And then this one over here, m3 minus a negative 1, which is the same thing as 3 plus 1, over 2 minus 2. This is then equal to 4 over 0. Uh-oh, we have a 0 in the denominator of a fraction. That, my friends, is undefined. And that is a vertical line. That's when I fell off the cliff after skiing. That's what we don't talk about. All right. So again, this one here goes down from left to right. This goes down from left to right. This one is horizontal. And this last one here is vertical. It's undefined. Make sure you understand why with those. Now, from a graph, if you want to find out the slope, there's a number of ways that you can do this, okay? First of all, you know that the slope is going to be positive because if you look from left to right, the line is going up. But if we wanted to find it, what you could do is you say, all right, I'm going to say m is equal to, and I'll take some points, negative 2 minus 2 over negative 3 minus 3. Negative 2 minus 2 would give you a negative 4, and negative 3 minus 3 would give you a negative 6, and this is 2/3. And it's positive like we expected it to be, okay? Now, that's one way to do it, because that's from the points. But when you have a graph, you don't have to do it that way. You look to where the lines intersect, these blue lines here, and you count from one point to another one. Remember that slope is the change, here I'm going to write it like this, to change in the y values over the change in the x values. So if you start here, how many blue lines would you count up to get where this one's at? You would go 1, 2, 3, 4 lines up. So your change in your y value is 4. And then how many would you have to go to the right to get to the other x value? You would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's 4 over 6, which again is 2/3. Now, when I count it up, you got to remember that up is a positive direction, down is a negative direction. To the right is positive and to the left is negative. That's important because if I choose to start here and count to the other dot, I can. But what happens is I'm going down 4. So if I went this, I went m is -4. And then I went to the left 6, which is a -6. And those double negatives still make it a positive 2/3. But you got to pay attention to your direction. If you're counting down, you're going negative. If you're counting to the left, you're going negative. If you're going to the right, it's positive. If you're going up, it's positive. Very important to understand. All right, let's move on. Now I'm going to give you a couple of equations. Hey, what's going on here? All right. Here I have 2 equations, and if I want you to find the slope from them, what you could do is you could pick values for x and for y. You can use any value for x and y and just find the corresponding point. So x, y, and you know what I love to use, right? If I put 0 in there for x, that means that I have, now this, I know some of you had trouble with this, that means I have 4 times 0 plus 5y equals 20. 5y, because that first term, 4 times 0 just goes away, equals 20. Divide by 5, and y is equal to 4. Okay? Then if I put 0 in for y, I would have 4x plus 5 times 0 here is equal to -20. Oops, that was a -20. My mistake. That means this would be a -4 here. Sorry about that. And then here I'd have 4x then is equal to -20. Divide by 4 on both sides, and x is equal to -5. Okay, so now I have 2 points. If I wanted to find a slope, I would say that m is equal to -4 minus 0 over 0 minus a -5, and this is a -4/5. So I know that it's a line that's going down from left to right because it's negative. Coming over here to this other problem, now I'm going to erase some of my work here because it's kind of in the way. I'm not going to do all the math this time for this one, but the same idea applies. X, y. If I put a 0 in here for x, I have a -2y left. Divide by -2, y is -2. If I put a 0 in for this term, that's real easy because that just wipes out and x is 4. For my slope then, I have -2 minus 0 over 0 minus 4. This is equal to a -2 over -4, which is equal to a positive 1/2. Not too bad, right? That's all, my friends. Good night. Goodbye.